Tippity top.
Straight out of Texas, we're born to live this way. Fire the grill up and hand me a cold beer. Hey, we're barbecuing, the fire's smoking, the brisket's cooking. Let's grab a little brisket.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Grabbing the Brisket podcast. Today we have a true legend in the world of barbecue joining us. Please welcome in Byron Chism, the creator of the iconic Bad Byron butt rub seasoning. Byron's journey from barbecue enthusiast to seasoning extraordinaire began with a spark of inspiration and a burning passion for the art of barbecue.
We're going to learn a lot more about this from him.
We are. It's
I feel like you were fixing to tell the story, but I think he probably knows it better.
I think we're like a little bit of a prelude, like
Is that what that was?
yeah, an intro, like it's like a prequel, right?
Pre-lube, is that what you said?
Ooh, Jesus, John. Man. Yeah. So we got Byron coming up in just a few short minutes. John, how's the week been?
Busy. Been working again and been working on, I don't know if we talked about this before, but my kid's working on building a lemonade trailer. So, well, I say my kid, I mean me. My dad was here the week before, helped me with it all week, but this week's just been me. So
Yeah.
it's rough. And
Yeah.
it's like 400 degrees outside. So
Yeah, not to make light or joke of just a serious situation, but those guys that are lost in a submarine, they probably could have used your skills on building. Or did they subcontract that stuff out to you? I don't know.
I keep seeing little clips and stuff, and it's
sad.
It's super sad, and it makes my stomach hurt. Like just thinking about.
Right.
They said it. I heard today that probably spontaneously imploded. I guess. Like,
okay.
Does that mean like when you step on a can, it just like.
I guess so. The pressure was too much.
Yeah.
And it just like pop.
Yeah, that's what I heard today. So.
Yeah, because I was wondering, it's like, what? They don't have like a little like beacon or something? It's like, a little sonar thing under there. They could just.
I saw some videos. There's literally like one button in there. They said it's supposed to be so easy, like an elevator. Basically,
it looked
one
like
button.
just a giant tube with glass at the end.
Exactly.
And supposedly it was like controlled by looked like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
And apparently the controller lost connection to.
Oh, I didn't hear all this.
To the whatever it's connected to, and somebody was joking like, did they run out of batteries? Did they not check to see if the batteries? John, did you check to see if the batteries are alive in this thing?
I should have checked.
God, Jesus,
bless it.
man.
It did look like a tube though. It looked like maybe some guy was out there building smoker and was like, you know what? I bet I can make a submarine. That's what it looked like. Looked like a 500-gallon smoker.
Yeah, he's like, Dale, hold my beer. Except they were like billionaires or millionaires.
Right.
Right.
Hold my champagne.
Oh, Jesus. All right. All right. Well, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get Bad Byron himself.
Let's do it. All right, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, and now the Barbecue Hall of Famer, Bad Byron Chism, butt rub. Let's go. How you doing, sir?
Everything's great, man. Glad to be here.
This is exciting. So the folks that don't know you, I know they know your rub because every store I go in, I see it was one of the first barbecue rubs I think I ever picked up in a store. I walked down the aisle and I think it was an H-E-B or a Kroger, and there I was making a butt because that's the first thing you make when you learn to barbecue, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, there's a butt rub. That must be it. I've been buying it ever since. But how did you get into this? How did this happen?
It was just one of those things that along the path you find where you're supposed to be, and I landed in the barbecue world, and I'm really grateful, man. What a beautiful, it's so many things. It's food, it's an event, it's culture, it's just a beautiful thing. So I was cooking for a living. I discovered that I really like cooking, and I was getting out of college, and I was trying to find where I was supposed to be, and I decided I'd give cooking for a living a chance, and it was working out pretty good. I really liked it. I was getting somewhere with it, and I felt like I had a future with that. Went to culinary school, all that. Meanwhile, along the path, I had a neighbor that taught me all about barbecue. And this was at a time in the early 90s where, at least in the South, there weren't commercial barbecue pits. he taught me how to barbecue, and we built the pit. He built the pit for me, and I learned how to cook on that. And I'll tell you, I fell in love with barbecue, head over heels, and I'm still in love with barbecue. And that's kind of what's directed my path. Anyway, long story short, I had a lot of off season. We have a seasonal. Where I live in the Florida Panhandle, and it's a resort community.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, it was really, I mean, it shut down after Labor Day, basically. So we had a lot of time. And I spent a lot of time with that grill. And so a lot of things developed, your own, bean sauce, the way you do things. You have your own way. All of us do that. So for me, I was just canning and giving away as gifts. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, wow, man, this looks like it ought to be at a store somewhere. And then I started looking in the stores, and what was available wasn't really impressive. So I thought there might be a little groove here. So that's how I got started. So my first sale was 1997, May 31st, 1997. That's how I got into it. And so here we are. Wow, this is 26 years later, and it's been a pretty good ride.
That is amazing.
Yeah. It's, I mean, if you think back, going back that far, did you ever expect that this whole, I always call it a sport, and more, it's probably more of a culture, that this boom of barbecue that's happened over the last like 15 years that has exploded all over social media, all over television. Did you ever see that coming? I mean,
I watched it coming. I mean, because I was already, I explained this the other day. When I got into it, it was like little did I know, but it's like being on the tarmac, and then you kind of start easing down, and then a little faster, and then then you're in the air.
Yeah.
And
right.
then you start towards the sky. So yeah, I watched it roll, and I can't say I expected it. It's just that we knew about something special before the masses did, basically. That's how I see it. And then, with technology, I know the Food Network, when they first started doing barbecue specials, their numbers just lit up. And then, the entrepreneurs out there, they took notice, and they started developing, we were at Barbecue All-Stars was the first thing that I remember. I was a part of that. And then the Barbecue Championship Series. There were a few things before Pitmasters.
Did we lose you?
You there?
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Yep, we lost you.
Yeah, we got some weather out here in Panhandle, Florida.
Oh, dang.
But so far so good, I hope.
So you were just talking about the Pitmaster series. Please go ahead.
Well, in terms of did I expect did I see it coming? I watched it and as it was in process, and what I see was the catalyst. It all started with the Food Network, because they went out organically just to some events, and whenever they had a barbecue special, their ratings were so high. They did a few more, and then it was pretty clear that people were interested in this, and that's when other that's when other entrepreneurs said, "Hey, let's do let's cover barbecue, because people are loving this." Yeah. So the first program I remember outside of Food Network was Barbecue All Stars. That was in the early 2000s, and that was produced by the same people that we wound up doing Pitmasters. That was the first series. I was one of the All Stars, actually.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it was not, I don't think the viewing for that series was that big, but, and then they did another series. I was a part of that. And there was a little bit of a break, and then they did Pitmasters. So, but I think that had a lot to do with, that had everything to do with the surge. Once people knew about it, they want to be a part of it, and, the industry follows.
For sure.
Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't even imagine. I can imagine how it is nowadays, and it's probably the same as it was before, but just thrusted with all the cameras, everything in your face.
Oh man.
Like, especially, you see some of the barbecue pit masters, the early shows or whatever, where it's just they're in their trailers, they're cooking, they're prepping, they're doing whatever. You get to learn a little bit of the techniques and a little bit of the stuff that they're doing, and I think that just sparked this whole revolution of people going, okay, well, I didn't even know a thing. Usually, I'm just accustomed to the way my dad or my grandpa or my mom or whoever to this is how she cooked a brisket, or this is how she did a pork butt. That's how I do it. And then once you start learning some of these other techniques, and back in the days, like there wasn't really a whole lot of places where you can go get that information. You can go on the internet. You can go on the web. There are forums out there, Barbecue Brethren, and a lot of other stuff out there that you could reach out to people that are in the same boat. And that's kind of when my eyes opened up to it just a little bit. I was like, man, there's hundreds of thousands of people in this forum that's just trying to soak up barbecue knowledge on how to cook something. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. This thing's going to blow up. And then it sure as shit, you see just a bunch of people coming out of the woodworks as far as the TV shows and the stuff that you see on the internet. You start seeing the rubs. And back in the day, like you said, there was no really, you had a few rubs in the stores. You had a few stuff that people are putting out. I remember when we first got into doing competition barbecue, was probably around, I want to say it's probably around early 2000s maybe, but it was primarily us just getting like, oh, I'm going to get garlic powder, I'm getting some Lowry's or some Tony Sacheries, and I'm getting some type of brisket rub, and I'm throwing it all together, and this is what I'm going to use. There was no like really kind of commercial grab one rub, throw it down on a piece of meat like it is now. Now it's just everywhere you turn there is just something there.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, a lot of variety, and but shoot, it's just evolved. It's been an interesting deal, but sometimes you look at the history of barbecue. It was made famous because of some basics, your cooking technique, low and slow. I love a true pit where you're cooking over the fire and a controlled method. That's some beautiful flavor with fat dripping on the coals. Mm-hmm. And then of course the classic Texas offset where you get just beautiful wood flavor because you've managed to fire. And so while you can get carried away with all these products, including mine, a lot of people have demonstrated that salt and pepper, good wood, a good steady fire, that's what made barbecue famous. Mm-hmm. So it's important not to get lost in all these different. I know when I started, I was confused. Do I inject? Do I brine? Do I? And when I finally just started paying attention to my senses and just having a manageable fire, I got the spirit of barbecue, and I like to try to, and that's why I love going to Texas, because you can go to some of those places been around forever and they haven't changed what they're doing. Yes, there are trendy places where you can find they've upped the game a lot, but I love going to a classic place that hasn't changed in 50 years.
Yeah.
And they remind you of the basics, the classics, the simplicity of what barbecue is supposed to be, because you can get carried away with it's like somebody, a pretty girl wearing too much makeup,
right.
You just keep it simple.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of like, so when I was first introduced to the butt rub, and I'm gonna tell on myself right now. I just recently started using the butt rub. I saw it in the stores. I kept seeing it everywhere, but it was like I'm that Texas, that Central Texas, that I just want the salt, pepper, a little bit of a spice, a little extra flavors. I don't want a whole lot of sweetness in whether I'm cooking a butt or whether I'm cooking a ribs or a brisket. So I was like, I kept seeing that bottle everywhere, and it's iconic. It has that pig and the and the little chef hat and the little apron and stuff like that. I was like, I just automatically thought it was just a sweet pork rub, and so I just skipped over it. I glanced over it. I was like, not until recently. I was like, okay, I gotta give this thing a try. I have to say, holy crap! I mean, it is contrary to what I thought. It is a savory little bit of a salty, spicy rub that I was not really expecting. And me and John threw down some pork tenderloins today. Holy crap. I mean, knocked it out of the park. This stuff was delicious.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Let me
Yeah,
ask,
salt and pepper based, and it's a true Texas rub from its origins because, I mean, basically a Texas rub is salt and pepper, and then, it's got onion and garlic, a little paprika, and it's got some chipotle. So it's got a little bit of heat, but no sugar. And I learned about rubs from a couple of old Texas cookbooks. So I'm living in the South. It's not a part of our culture. And I grew up in Texas, and I was always influenced by everything Texans. And I'm looking at these, reading about Texas barbecue, and I'm reading about the rubs. And I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense to season the meat, put it on the grill, and you can mop it, you can baste it. You can have finishing sauce. That's fine.
Yeah.
But all these things work together. But in the classic Southern pork barbecue cooking methods, a rub was not a part of it. Didn't exist. Salt, yes. But the mop was the magic, the mop, And then, of course, finish the sauce, depending on what region, whatever. But I really like the idea of a rub. So the guy taught me how to barbecue. He was an old Alabama cowboy, and he was taught. He's, several generations of barbecuers. And I told him, I said, I was reading about barbecue rub in my Texas cookbooks. Have you ever thought about mixing a blend of spices and seasoning the meat before you cook it? I said, and he says, them folks are right. Them books, they don't know everything. So, in other words, Granddaddy didn't do it that way. My daddy didn't do it that way, and I don't do it that way. No, so it just was. A barbecue rub in the South was real unique. It came out of Central Texas. I'm sure y'all know all about the history of the meat markets and the culture there. And somewhere along the line, salt and pepper went on first, and between that and the wood and everything, a sauce was optional. In your deepest roots there. So I'm all about it.
Absolutely. So you're coming clean about not having tried this before. I've been using this stuff, like I said, since, basically when I started cooking. I met James probably about 10 years ago, and it was one of the first ones I saw. But I did not realize until literally 30 minutes ago that you had other products. Like, I guess I just didn't see them in the store. You have a sauce? I didn't know you had a sauce. I went on there just a minute ago and placed an order to try some of this stuff. But can you tell us a little bit about your sauce? I saw you had a
seafood. Florida roots have starting to come out.
Yeah, some seafood.
For the company, we have a handful of products. A lot of it is more seasonal and regional, and it's just kind of a mail order product. It's just not really meant for grocery distribution. So butt rub that's our bread and butter. That's what we make a living off of. We have a great seafood seasoning. I'm real proud of that. Jubilee. It shows you that you can create a great good product, and it can look nice, but it just doesn't get off the shelf. So butt rub was kind of the exception. The packaging, the slogan, a lot of things came together that allowed that to just jump off the shelf, and a lot of people, it became their product, and we built some brand loyalty there, and built a business. So I have other products, but that don't mean they're going to succeed in the grocery. They have to perform. And so now we have a new sauce that came out just a few years ago. So it's getting some traction. We didn't start out, guns a-blazing with it, because it was a new relationship with a co-packer. It was a new product. So we started with the independent grocery stores and kind of built it. And now this year we're in Publix, and we're going to be in most of the Krogers by the end of the summer. So we're making traction with our sauce, which it pairs with the butt rub nicely. And so I think that's going to be a good addition to what we're doing. The only other rub I have is Happy Hollow. That was a product that was developed in Kansas City many years ago by Ed Royth. Ed Royth started the judging program for the KCPS. He was one of the early pioneers in the KCPS world. He's in his 90s. He's alive and well today. And this product he created a long time ago, it was so good, but he faded out into wanting to make it, and I said, I'll take it over. So I have Happy Hollow. We're in some grocery stores with it, and we do a lot of mail order with it. But that's about it. And then of course we have butt rub in like 4 different containers.
Yep.
So
Yep. I was thinking about buying that 5-gallon bucket one. I think you got a big container on there.
we can get you one bigger than that.
The 50-gallon drum.
That's when you know it's good, when it's offered in just giant like freaking like 50-gallon drums. You know what I mean? Like they start
Sure.
offering like five pound pails. Like, okay, you know this is good. You know everybody's using it.
It's been a gift. It's been a blessing. It's a basic rub. You can add to it. It's a foundation rub. I think what happened for us, the benefit was we got in early, and a lot of people grabbed it and liked it, and they stuck with it because it was a part of their life. I've met people that are graduated from college and they said all the barbecue I remember growing up had butt rub on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we built that brand loyalty, and that's why I sell butt rub for a living, and that's why I always did. The timing was good. There's plenty of products that are as good as butt rub. It's just that we had the name and we got it out there, got the attention. People started using it, and they realized it was versatile. They could use it on just about everything. So all these things I could not have forecasted. That's why I don't ever really pat myself too hard on the back. I'm just grateful that I had this opportunity and that this is working out, and we're still growing 26 years later.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's brand loyalty. I mean, I feel like it's a staple in just about everybody's kitchen at this point. You mentioned that the first one sold in 1997. Where did that coincide with? Did the competitions come on after you started making the rub, or were you already doing competition barbecue?
No, what it was I was cooking for a living, and it was seasonal, so I had some downtime in the winter, and that's when the products kind of came together, and that's when the idea for selling it locally here where I live in Florida, that's where all that came. It came together. So I figured out how to pressure cook baked beans and create my own baked beans and sauce, and then the rub was a lot. That was easy. I mean, you just make some dry rubs in a tub, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I was trying out, I thought I'd try that out locally, see what happened. Well, everybody liked the baked beans and people liked the sauce, but it was the rub that just took off. And I think it was basically because we're in a resort community. People are visiting from all over the country, and everybody knows a neighbor or uncle or somebody that barbecues. So it's like they'd see this little pig, butt rub, and it made them laugh. So it was really kind of a joke, which whatever, as long as you're picking it up and buying it, hopefully you'll like it.
Yeah.
So I was getting calls from all over the country. So yeah, well, we were down there in Florida, and we want to order some more of this. And so basically butt rub got all the attention. So I kind of dropped the beans, dropped the sauce, and I'm like, I'm onto something with this. It's just got a buzz about it. So I just focused on it, and then I got it produced commercially a few months later from from a co-packer. And once I did that, I never looked back, because now I've got a room full of product. I got to move this stuff. I got a job. I mean, I was like, what can I do today to get this into the stores, and anyway, I eventually said, well, let's get out and start promoting it at the barbecue competitions. I had not been to any. I just heard about them. I knew about them. I was cooking in restaurants. We had to work on the weekends. I'd never been to a barbecue contest, but now I'm in the butt rub business. So here I go. I found the National Barbecue News, and they had all these competitions. I'm like, whoa, it's a subculture I didn't know. I'm like, I was relieved to know that there were a lot more people as crazy about barbecue as I was. So I started going to these events promoting butt rub, and eventually I got the idea that if I was competing, it would be good credentials. And if I was winning, it would be good credentials.
Right.
And so that's how I got into competing. So I actually had the product. Then I decided I would start competing because I thought if I develop this product and I'm winning competitions, it gives it credentials. And that's what motivated me.
Okay. So how long into that competition How long was it before you got hooked? Before you got that first call and you, because that's what hooks us all, right? You get that first call and you're like, oh, I am the greatest cook alive.
Yeah, I had some pretty early success. I mean, I jumped right in there and was working hard at it. I was motivated. You know, I have a cooking background, and I really was driven and everything. I really don't remember when. My first year cooking, I wound up at the American Roll Invitational. I mean, I did win a couple of grands that year, so it took a little while, but I found my groove. I mean, I loved it. And this was an era where there wasn't any tools to teach you. You didn't have the classes.
Mm-hmm.
There was no other way to learn how to be a barbecue champion other than jumping in there and practicing and creating something, imagining something. It wasn't something that, like today, you could go to a barbecue champions class, and if you did everything they said and just practice it, you could be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like that back then. Mm-hmm. You had to figure it out. And you're talking about barbecue secrets. People tell you a little bit, and you don't know when they're bullshitting you or not. But you got to figure it out, man. You just got to jump in there and do it. And I love that. I had the skill set for that. So had barbecue cooking success on the circuit because of all the elements that I was, because it was just a good era for a guy like me at that time to jump in there and do something.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, like we have a few years of doing competition experience. I never really come across the butt rub, and which I think that's telling you one thing, because I think that's something that people were just keeping a secret. They didn't want anybody to know. They were marking their bottles. They were putting in different containers. You know what I mean? Like, because why am I just now hearing about this? So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you for a couple of pointers on you, because I think you just mentioned earlier about your success with the KCBS. I think you're top 10 7 years in a row.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I had a pretty good run in the 2000s, and of those top 10, all but 2 were top 5s. So I got first runner up one year, and we didn't even know what the points were until the banquet. You know, I was like a few points away from winning team of the year. I had no idea. I might have could have squeezed in another contest, but no, it was great, man. I enjoyed it. The open road, the traveling, the competitions, the challenge, the friends. And we all know, there's no better friends, no better people in the world than barbecuers. Yeah. You know, golly, friendly. We all, hospitality. Everybody's got personalities, and it's a blue jean country club, and I absolutely treasure the moments at competitions. Definitely. But going back to I always knew though that the competition people, that was not my market. I was going for the general public. Yeah. I was there to obtain credentials so I'd carry over into the neighborhood. You know, competition cooks, I was always flattered when someone used my product, because, that means that somebody really, really good thinks it's a good product. But that's a niche market. You know, you got to get out there and the general public and have some success at the general grocery stores. So, chips, oh man, I don't know. I just, for me, it was just like I always worked on my weakest category. Yeah. It's like I would identify which of the 4. I was in KCBS, although I did cook in Texas at least once or twice a year, for many years. I was involved with competition barbecue 21 years. It was just until 2019 that I pulled back from competing. But in the KCBS, you have 4 categories, and I always identified my weakest category. And I honed in on it. I forgot about the rest. I had one weak category, and I worked on it like a mad dog until all of a sudden it's not my weak category no more. Yeah. Then now what's my weak category? And I work on that till like as a mad dog. And I just kept doing that. And every time I would elevate my weak category, the whole it raised all the boats. So that's how I got competitive and consistent.
Well, I can tell you right now, my weakest category is chicken. That's been kind of our nemesis all throughout. Brisket is always we've always done quite well doing brisket. We've always done pretty decent doing ribs, but chicken was just that nemesis. That
Yeah.
was the bird that like we just could not nail down. No matter how many that we tried. And of course, you go judge and you taste other people, and then you take a little class here or there. You get some pointers how to do this and that, but it still is one that kind of like haunts us. We always make chicken that tastes great to us, but you're like, shit, they
Yeah.
don't like it.
Stupid judges.
Yeah, I always thought, if I'm not excited about it, how can I expect to be judges to be excited about it? And some people are like going, I don't even like this, but this is what the judges like. That's fine if that's your approach. But for me, if I'm not excited about it, we're going to do something else.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we got to find something we all agree on, because I'm a judge too. I'm judge number 7. My points might not score, but we all got to like this together, because I ain't turning into something I don't believe in. And that was always my attitude. And,
Love that.
yeah, I kind of enjoy not competing. It was a long time that I did it, and I never thought I'd get enough. And but I got to see a lot of the country, and I got to go to a lot of international events. It's been a beautiful thing. But now it's time. I'm hosting international teams. I'm doing some events of my own. I have a place in Tennessee. We call it the Butt Ranch. And we're starting to do some nice events for fundraisers for charity. So it's a new era for me, but I'm really grateful for competition years. The open road was such a beautiful thing. Seeing the country is such a great thing, and all the friends you'd make, while doing that. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. But everything, there comes a time where everything runs its course, and I guess that's. I thought I'd wrapped it up before, and then when they had that first international event in Europe in 2012, I was just about to say, I think I've had my fill of competition barbecue, and then in 2012 they had the first KCBS in Amsterdam. I said, I'm going, man. I got to be there. Turned out I was the only American. They had 10 countries representing the world, and that was such a beautiful experience to be able to go to another country representing your country barbecue, and for me, my product. But that was the icing on the cake. Didn't see it coming, and I would wind up going to for 9 years, I think 31 contests I was involved with, 19 countries. It was a good time. I was still doing that when 2019, when COVID closed that down, and then I got used to not competing at all for a few years, and so here I am.
Yeah, we've gotten. I think over the last year or so, we've transitioned with the show and the media aspect that we have now going on with Grabbing the Brisket. We do a competition here every once in a while, and we're still trying to we still itch to get back out there and do it. But I think we're also like, I don't miss it. I mean, I miss it, but I don't miss it. I don't miss just the super hot days and just sitting by a pit. But
Anxiety.
You see these guys nowadays, how they're operating, where they have these just drum smokers that are computerized to where they don't have to do anything. You just put your meat on it, just close it down, and then that's it. Have you got into any of the drum smoking or any of the electronic monitored smokers?
And I'm old school. I don't have. I have very few tools like that.
I know we love.
I see it out
we
there.
love Byron,
I know it's
'cause,
convenient.
this is more Grabbing the Brisket. We don't like the electronics.
Yeah, if people, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. For me, I just learned how to do it a different way, and it feels natural to me.
Mhm.
And I admire cooks that don't even use thermometers. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not there. I like to know what my pit's doing,
Yeah.
and I do use a probe. I kind of like to. I mean, I can feel and all that, but you don't want surprises when you're competing.
Correct.
You need to be some assurances.
You definitely
So,
don't.
no, I'm as minimal of that as there is. When we started, and not when I was competing, everybody was putting their meat on Friday night about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was, and somebody was up all night. I mean, you had to watch that fire, you know.
Yeah.
Boy, that's changed. I mean, a lot of those drums and all of them get fired up to the daylight the next day.
Oh, yeah.
On competition day.
Yeah, they'll
7
cook,
or 8 o'clock.
cook a brisket like in 4 hours or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, evolution is you can't hold it back. I'm not sure that's good or not. I mean, if people like what they're doing and they're scoring well, then more power to them. I just not where I came from, and I'm not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one more thing on the competition, and we'll put that one to bed.
Sure.
But we had Myron Mixon on last week, and we talked about just kind of the evolution of competition barbecue. Same thing we're talking about right now. It's just the use of drums or the use of pellet smokers. But he mentioned it seems like it's more just kind of a sauce competition nowadays, right? It's just that you're losing the seasoning, you're losing the actual this is my words, you're losing the art of barbecue. You're the craft
Flavor
of
of the meat,
smoking,
yeah.
flavor of the meat. It's just how good is your sauce, and there you go.
Well, and the main thing, and I agree with all that. I think that you don't have original artists like you did. I know when I started. In other words, I mean, even before me, those guys made their own cookers. They made their own rubs.
Mm-hmm.
They created all the elements, to their barbecue. So they were original artists. Well, now there's so many good commercial products out there now. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to be an originator. You can take a class and you can use these products that are great and be competitive. But to me, it's like a musician that they just do cover songs. And I kind of respect the artists that write their own music.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that's just me. And I'm not competing anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter what I think.
Right.
But I do think competition barbecue has morphed into a strange thing. It's not something you would serve family. It's not something you would serve a July 4th coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do a bunch of competition barbecue for 100 neighbors.
Right.
No.
I mean, you're kind of going back to the basics to really enjoy a plate of barbecue. Not just creating something that's a one bite wonder that you hope to get a trophy out of.
Yeah.
I know when I was getting when I had my run, it was my approach. It was my cuisine. I ain't saying I never used nobody else's sauce or nobody else's. I basically didn't use too many people's anything. But I was proud that I create. This is my creation. This is my thing, And I had to figure out how to do it because I didn't have a choice for one thing.
That's
So
true.
no, it is what it is, and,
Yeah.
and it's not my world really anymore. But if people are enjoying what they're doing, that's all that matters. Because that's what I was doing when I was doing it.
Definitely. Yeah, with your culinary background and your expertise, let me ask you this. I see a lot of trends. I see a lot of fads that go on social media, and I think it's a big problem with nowadays is that it's just you have so much information at your fingertips at every second of the day that you can't tell what is good and what is not good. If you have the right person, a right influencer that tells you do this, and you have a million people that are going to do something. And one thing that we've seen over the last really 6 months, a year, it's been happening for a while, but the use of using beef tallow, just using it on everything, like they're rubbing their cooked briskets down with beef tallow. They're injecting their briskets with beef tallow.
How do you feel about it, James?
That's just one of the trends that I've seen. But I'm like, I don't like it. I think it's dumb. I think you're just injecting oil in your protein, your meat. But what do you think, Byron?
Well, I do have a culinary background. I haven't cooked in a restaurant since 1997, but the culinary school I went to, and of course the years I cooked in restaurants, some of those things are instilled in you, and a lot of the things that instilled in me, I had the fortune to work with a chef called Chef Larry Forgion. He's known as the godfather of American cuisine, and I'll never forget how he stressed to us, your best tools are your senses, what do you see? What do you feel? What do you taste? You know, it's like pay attention. Let your senses dictate what you do next. And my senses wouldn't tell me to do a bunch of crazy stuff. I think cooking is a basic thing, and you just don't want to muck it up. You know, I say keep it simple. Pay attention. Use your senses and get away from your notes and all your advisors. If just pay attention to it, look at it, feel it. You know, you'll have your own idea about what you should do.
Yeah.
And when you quit taking everybody else's advice, you become your own cook, and it's more rewarding, more satisfying. So I'd say when you cook, just pay attention to what you're doing. Use your imagination, use your senses, your smell, your touch, your taste, and you will find your own path that will be different than anyone else's, and you'll be more satisfied with what you're doing because it's yours.
I love that. And honestly, I feel like if more people did that, when you were judging these barbecue competitions, everybody's stuff wouldn't taste the same. You know what I mean? Like if everybody just like you said, like get to their roots and like actually like taste your food, like experience your food, and you know if it's good or not. You don't need somebody else to tell you this is what you're supposed to do. Like, do what works.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that.
It has gotten homogenous, and it wasn't like that. And I judged enough in the early days. I judged from time to time. It was a big variety of things, and then some of the later years I judged. It's like, man, everything was really similar. And of course, I loved the story behind how everybody got cooking on thighs. I don't know if y'all know the story, but I watched it happen. It's like used to in KCBS, somebody turn in breast, someone turn in, variety, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You got all kinds of stuff for chicken. But then I don't know what year it was, about 2002 or 3 or something. This guy named Jumpin' Jim. He went and won the chicken in American Roll Invitational. The next day, he won the Open in chicken. He won chicken in the Invitational and won chicken in the Open at two of the biggest contests there is. And then, like the next week, he published on the Barbecue Forum exactly how he did it, and it changed chicken forever. He was cooking thighs. And all of a sudden, you never saw nothing but thighs, just on a dime. And everybody's like, "Whoop, I'm cooking thighs," and they were all doing versions of his recipe. And so now you went from all this variety to like, there's Jumpin' Jim 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 boxes of Jumpin' Jim's chicken.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nuts. But anyway.
Oh yeah, that's the internet, right? Like that's how everything starts being the same, right?
So I
Like,
learned
they
it,
see one
yeah.
person do it, like I'm gonna do it like that too. He did it good. I'm gonna do it like that.
That was the early wave of what was to come, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just like whether you saw you saw Myron Mixon doing the cupcake chicken, or you saw
Johnny Trigg
using the parquet butter and the tiger sauce and a rib wrap. So here everybody's just using it. It's flying off the shelves. You can't even find it. Every time there's a competition in this area, the blue bottle of parquet is
So
just gone.
Tiger sauce, loving it.
Nobody's got original idea anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Don't get me wrong. I love pepper jelly as much as the next guy, but every rib and every chicken you taste got some pepper jelly on it. Some kind of pepper jelly. I love it.
Well, you're talking about Johnny Trigg. Way back in my heyday, that was his heyday. I got to know Johnny real well. We were in a lot of contests together. And one year we had between 7 events. He was grand and I was reserve. I think he was grand at 5 and I was reserve at 2, and I was grand at 2 and he was reserve at 5. He was tough. He was tough to beat. God, that guy's a competitor. He was a lot of fun though. I really like him. And I got to tell you a quick story.
yeah.
So I was really jonesing in brisket back then. I was real strong and everything else, and I couldn't. The harder I worked at brisket, the worse it got. It seems like. And I remember Johnny's wife Trish. She's like, "I know Johnny was talking about helping you out with your brisket. So So I was like, I kept waiting for Johnny to come over and
Yeah.
give some pointers. And he sat down next to me one day and he was going to tell me, he was about to open up. I could feel it. And he got to the point where he says, well, Chism, first of all, you ain't cooking no good brisket on them thin wall cookers. Because I had some Cajun grills I cooked on, and they were thin wall. And that's all he said. He never got anywhere else. And I don't know if he was going to tell me more than originally, but he bailed out. So all I got was I can't do it. And now I look back, I'm like, he did the best thing he could to help me, because you tell somebody they can't do something, that's gonna drive them nuts until they can do it.
Yeah.
So as it turned out, I don't know, year later, I wound up team of the year in brisket on a thin wall cooker. So yeah, and he'll tell you, he says, shows you what I know. I love that
awesome.
guy.
He's
I
a
really
legend.
do. We have
Yeah.
great memories with Johnny Trey. God dang, and I love that guy.
Yeah, we gotta get him on somehow too. So we just saw recently, we talked about this a few weeks ago, that you were going to be inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame. How does that make you feel?
Well, that's a buzz. That's a buzz right there. Yeah, it really. I mean, it's an honor. You know, I don't know, man. I'm just a little dizzy still about it, because I've been able to make a living in this world of barbecue and enjoy my life cooking and traveling and being a part of the barbecue community and growing the business and all these beautiful things. And then somehow or another, you know, my peers say, well, you belong in this group. And I'm like, it's just really, it means the world. I mean, it's flattering to pieces. I try not to think about it when I was a finalist, because, you know, only 4 of the 10 is going to get selected. So I didn't want to be too disappointed. So I tried not to think about it. But then when I found out that I was one of the 4, this was one of the best days of my life.
Man.
Love that. That's huge, right?
Yes.
So big. So are you going to be out there at the Royale? Royal?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
All right, we'll be out there too. We're going to be looking for you.
Yeah, excellent.
Yep.
Yeah. When I was competing a lot, I wound up, I looked at my record. I wound up going to the Royal 7 years, but I hadn't been in a long time. So it's going to be a little bit of a homecoming, because I made a lot of good friends out there over the years, you know, the Kansas City connections. And I look forward to going back, and I'm not competing. So I'm just going to enjoy. I'm not going to worry about the fire or prepping this or doing that or whatever. I mean, I just go out there and just have a big time. In fact, I'm planning on bringing my cooking rig, and I want to stay on campus. I don't want no hotel in town. Hell no. I want to be out there with the cooks. So I'm working on, it looks like I'll be able to stay out there at the Speedway somewhere and just kick back and cook a lot of food and just see some old friends, make some new ones. Just being part of the environment of that.
Yeah, it's a blast. Last year was our first year out there. We were set up out there in Pit Row with Barbecue News Magazine. They let us set up and do our podcast out there. So we're going to come looking for you, but if we don't find you, come looking for us, because we want to get you on in person, shake your hand, and congratulate you for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
I look forward to meeting y'all for sure.
So are there any new developments or new future plans for the I guess the Bad Byron butt rub brand, or any other? I know we talked about a little bit of the seasonings, the other sauces and stuff that you have. Any future plans or anything coming up that you want to talk about?
The main thing about our business goal is just to continue finding new stores. We're still growing after all this time, and our biggest competitors are in a much higher store count than we are, but they're $1 billion company. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're growing every year. I've got good people we work with that are out there, and they're still treading a lot of progress. So we're just kind of rolling out what's working. Don't really feel like, I don't think reinventing the wheel is my niche as much as this rolling out what we know that works well once we get it in the stores.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. The most exciting thing that's happened in the business is our new documentary. It just came out about a month ago, and it talks about the 25-year history about how this started out with just a passion for barbecue and a dream, and how, as of the time of the filming, we were number one grocery store barbecue seasoning in the country. So it without any investment group or no partners, just a guy with a dream and a passion for barbecue, and that's what the documentary is about. So it's called Barbecue Dreams: The Butt Rub Story, and it's on YouTube. BBQ Dreams, and of course you can click to it from our homepage at buttrub.com.
Okay, that's awesome. And we'll put a link to that in the description of this episode, so listeners, if you want to check that out, do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. And also, I'm going to my local HEB tomorrow, and I'm going to request the butt rub.
And the sauce. I want the sauce.
And the sauce. So
good.
They're
good. We're not in HEB yet. They've it's been a difficult chain to get into, but we are in a lot of places in Texas. By the end of July, we'll be in the Kroger's. I know we're in a lot of the Walmarts, Sam's, and Costco. But I love Texas, my home state, and my products are all made in Texas. The rub and the sauce are made in Central Texas.
Love that. That's awesome. Well, Byron, so if we're getting close to the end here, but if anybody wants to get a hold of your products or any of your social medias or whatnot, where can they find you?
Buttrub.com, that's our website. On Facebook, the Butt Rub Club is we do a lot of interactions on Butt Rub Club, and then buttrub.com. They tell me we're on Instagram and stuff. I'm not really social media.
I love it.
But I do go to the Butt Rub Club a lot, and then on buttrub.com, it's got all our stores, our history, our recipes, our product line. We got some pretty unique products that are basically mail order products that we're real proud of. So we would love to have y'all. The folks out there that want to check us out would be happy to. We always send out a bunch of goodies whenever someone orders. In fact, every order, it says that every order over $20. But to be honest with you, every order gets a free T-shirt.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. So everybody out there, go check out Bad Byron's butt rub. I love the what would you call the I love the message that you have on the bottle where it's like a little butt rub makes everything better. Everybody go check out the rub, and I promise anybody that tries it out there, like, you will not be disappointed, because it is a rub that I kind of equate to being just a nice all-purpose, just a good rub.
Super versatile
that you can just sprinkle on. Like earlier, I just sprinkled them on my French fries. I was like, let me just go ahead and get a little bit of this on there. Super delicious. And of course, we had the pork tenderloin that we threw down. But Byron, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. You obviously have an open invite anytime you want to jump back on and just talk a little barbecue or just shoot a little shit. Hey, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure too. I thank you for having me. It's been great. So I look forward to seeing you again, and I definitely want to see you out the Royal.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll be looking for you.
We'll see you.
Okay, absolutely.
Take care, bud.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was great. Another barbecue Hall of Famer in the books.
It's such a cool dude.
Yes.
I mean, obviously he's been in the game for a little bit. When I say he's been we've been in the game for a little bit, but he's been in the more of the know of all these, like, just name dropping the Johnny Triggs and the people. I was like, it's just awesome talking to the guys like this.
Can you text me Johnny's number? Because I'm trying to get a hold of that guy.
We're trying to get a hold of
He
Smoking
doesn't
Triggers.
use social media.
Like, it's like Johnny Trigg at like Tiger Sauce / parquetbutter.com. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
but super awesome having Byron on. Guys, honestly, I was saying earlier, if you haven't tried it, I was a newbie. I mean, until just like this week, I've never tried that rub. I always saw it out there.
You should have asked me. I'd have told you it wasn't a sweet rub.
Yeah, I saw the giant like pink pig with the little
You
chef
just assume,
apron on
right?
it. I was like, yeah, it's a sweet rub. I don't want a sweet rub. I get a lot of sweet rubs, and I'm like, it tastes good in your hand. Just like,
Right.
oh, okay. I mean, I can make cookies out of that or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm being facetious. I'm
You're
joking.
giving me ideas over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we're not done with this episode, but we are going to pay a couple bills, and we'll be right back. We got some mail, and we got a beer review, and I think Big Al just walked in, so we'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Hansel Zarin from the BFYTW podcast, here with my buddy Stevie.
Hey, what's up?
And Augie.
Hey.
And we're here to, first of all, categorically deny the rumors going around that all we've been doing lately is copying other podcasts. This is categorically untrue, and we deny it completely. Having said that, please enjoy the rest of the Grab 'em in the Brisket podcast. And when you're done, feel free to check out our new project, Pull 'em in the Pork Chop, a barbecue podcast with beer reviews, barbecue recipes, swag, and so much more. Pretty sure it's never been done before.
Hey, you there. We've got a question for you. Are you tired of clickbait stories and the loudest voices driving discussions in culture and entertainment?
If so, I'm Dylan.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Corey. And we host the podcast From the Middle. We're middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle.
We take a more reasonable and centrist approach in our discussions covering genres like comedy, culture, entertainment, and interviews with really interesting folks like business owners, comic creators, doctors, news anchors, New York Times best-selling illustrators, professional stand-up comics, and more. We really value a relaxed and conversational podcast, one that we hope is so fun and laid back, you'll forget you're not actually hanging out with us.
So search at From the Mid Pod, just like it sounds, or check us out everywhere you can find podcasts.
All right, folks, absolutely go check out those podcasts, BFYTW and From the Middle. I've listened to both, and I'll be honest, they're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're both fantastic, they're both fun, so check them out. But without further ado, I think we got something.
You got mail, motherfuckers.
I love that. It just doesn't get old. Can we just... I'm going to make that a sound bit. I love that. And we got this first one is from... Amanda Beth, and I do not remember where we got, if this was Instagram or Facebook or something. I don't know. But if I can find a link, I will post it below. I'm not sure if there is one or not, but this is Texas Rodeo Mudbugs is what it says on the sticker. And there's 3 different rubs here. The one I got says Voodoo.
You got Western Wishes.
Other side, buddy.
Yeah.
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo
That's
Child.
for children, right?
Yeah, you got the not spicy version, I think,
Yeah.
of mine. Yeah. Oh, Big
That's like
Al
the,
is here. Welcome, Big Al.
That's like the Fun Dip version where the kids just stick their fingers in there and just like... That's good. We've already tried a little bit. We have not put it on any meat or any...
We need to.
I don't even know if this is a meat seasoning. If it's just more just kind of a like crawfish seasoning.
Okay, so I saw a little message. It said try it on seafood.
Okay.
It said, or you can put it on chicken if you want to, but really it sounds like it's really good on seafood. So we're gonna have to make, I don't know, some shrimp or some shrimp on the bobby.
A seafood dish.
That's how you say shrimp on the barbie. Is on the bobby.
Is that Australian for
Yeah.
crawfish?
Exactly.
I think it just means shrimp. But
That's good. Almost got a little kick.
I was going to say, if this is the child one, it's got a little kick to it. I can only imagine yours probably has.
The flavor is fantastic. Honestly,
yeah, for
this
sure.
is good. Like I'm already thinking like some shrimp tacos with a little slaw.
Nice.
This sounds fantastic. This is gonna be good.
It
This
also
is-
like doubles down as a like self-defense like
yes
tool. Just
Yes.
like in your eyes.
Exactly. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Okay, but hey, Amanda, was it Amanda? Thank you for sending that in. Can't wait to use it, and when we do, y'all will see it. If you're following us, if you're not following us, you should be. GrabTheBrisket.com or all of our social medias. Most of them are at GrabTheBrisket, except for Twitter, which is at GrabTheBrisket. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't find it, just go to our website. There's probably a link somewhere.
And honestly, contrary to what people believe, grab the brisket, grab them in the brisket. That's not a derogatory term.
Right. It's not political.
We're just grabbing briskets. I might have set a world record of saying contrary in this episode, but I think I've said it like 3 or 4 times. But I'm just emphasizing that.
Every time he says it, take a drink.
Right. Every time he says
You
it,
won't make it.
An angel gets its wings. Let's go.
That's not all the male mother effer that we got. We also got something from our boy That Dude Barbecue. I think he's on all the social medias, but we mostly chat with him on Twitter. And he sent us. I could have sworn there was 3 rubs. One of them must have walked away because I only see 2 here.
There's a sweet one somewhere.
There's a sweet one. Okay, well here we have the brisket bomb and Mike's secret stuff. I haven't got to try either one. I tried them out of the bottle and they're good. But you said you got to try one on some.
Yeah, this past weekend we threw down a tri-tip. Alex had a pool day, so we threw down a tri-tip. Very good, very tasty. It's very peppery, and it does say brisket, so it probably does maybe do a little bit better on brisket per se.
Okay.
So we just did a tri-tip. We smoked it indirectly, and then we finished it off, seared it off really good.
And by we, he means him.
Right.
Yeah. This looks coarse. This looks like some
It's very coarse.
rub.
Yeah.
No one else got out of the pool to help at all.
No, nothing.
No.
Well, by the time I showed up, he was literally walking out the door, and y'all were schnockered.
I'm like, I'm done with these guys.
And he literally rolled out with his cooler. I was like, well, there goes the beer.
Right. Yeah. Gone.
So we haven't tried Mike's secret stuff yet, but we will.
Not yet.
And when we do, you'll see it. Did you get any kind of content of this tri-tip, or is this just?
I did. I got
word
a
of
couple of videos.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we already mentioned it, but our social media is out there. Check it out. That's the mail.
That's the mail, motherfuckers. And then that leads us into the grabbing the brisket.
Beer review.
And today we got a beer from Parish Brewery. So this brewery is out of, I believe they're Louisiana based.
I would guess Louisiana.
I could not tell you which parish they're out of or where they're from. So we have the extra sauce, the lemonade shanty, and it's an imperial. It's imperial. I mean, I see imperial labeled a bunch of times on different beers.
I hear that. I just think strong.
Yeah, I think that's what it means. Just imperial means strong.
We should ask that this weekend. What does imperial mean?
Right, exactly.
We will be in Martin House this week. We'll be in Dallas with Martin House this weekend. So stay tuned for that. And you mentioned you're not sure where in Louisiana. I'm pretty sure this is from Broussard, Louisiana.
Okay. It's on the can.
It is on the can, yeah.
Nice.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you should because it's fun, but you'll see that I'm reading the can as we speak. 7% alcohol by volume.
I was going to say, I can't even see it. I'm sweating so bad.
You get talking to Mike.
All right. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, I can hear Alex is here.
Fuck you guys.
You're right. Okay, so we have the beer, the shanty, the lemonade shanty, which is, I think it's like a Pilsner. Let me just go ahead and read what they have on their website.
Would you do that?
Let me just put it out there. It's an amped up take on a classic beer lemonade cocktail mixture. Extra sauce combines a refreshing yet sturdy Pilsner base and it zests it up with a Sunbeam Fresh Meyer lemon puree. Style, Imperial Shanty. Flavor, bright, fruity, lemony. John already said 7% ABV. And this is seasonal. So if you're trying to get this in the wintertime, go fuck yourself.
Jesus. Wow. If you guys can't see it, I'll try to post a picture of this somewhere. Remind me to take a picture of this. It looks like the
Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's.
It's
And it
got
actually says on there somewhere, trademark Raising Cane, blah, 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 blah. But it looks just like it. And it has the little stacked up sauces.
Right.
The
So,
cane,
yeah.
caniac sauce, whatever you
If
call
you're
it.
not
cane
going to
sauce.
if you're not going to Cane's and you're not asking for extra sauce, I don't really know what you're doing because the seasoning the chicken's really good. The seasoning is very bland on the chicken.
Yeah, you gotta have the sauce.
Gotta have sauce.
Yeah, and they cook the chicken well. But have you ever had Cane's and not felt like shit afterwards? I feel like it is the greasiest shit ever. I love Cane's. I go there, not all the time, but frequently enough. And every time I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? I feel like shit.
Really?
That's the way I feel
Yeah.
after Taco Bell.
Did you get
You watch your
how
mouth.
many? You get like the 6 tendies.
I get the Caniac combo,
getting
which
the
has like
6 tendies,
84.
You're eating like two chicken breasts. Like
That's probably what it is.
Damn,
and
John.
then I'm washing it down with one of their big ass lemonades. I'm like,
Right.
oh, why do I feel weird?
yeah, I need to take a nap.
Duh.
Your heart's slowing down.
Exactly. Yeah, he's trying to pump cane sauce through my veins. Yeah, this is I'll let somebody else go first on this one, I think.
I'm saying, the first initial sip of this, I was like, ooh, that lemon, very tart, very just. You don't really get a beer flavor. You get maybe just a not stale beer, but you get kind of like a non-carbonated beer. But this almost reminds me, and I guess of what it kind of boils down to. We used to have a lot of get-togethers with Dusty and Janae. They lived across the street, and then we still have get-togethers with them every once in a while. But she always made this beer lemonade punch type
I was
deal.
literally going to say it tastes like a light beer that they put some lemonade in.
Essentially, that's what it is. I was like, is that what a shanty is? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, these words are new to me as far as I just thought it was like just a beer and lemonade or whatever. But I'll tell you right now, before we get into what our scores were, we used to make this Texas lemonade back in college, Tarleton State University, Lambda Chi Alpha.
Wow. Okay. Is that
Like
what
how
we're
we threw
doing?
the shot out there.
Right.
We're doing that?
Shout out. We used to make this, it was basically just a giant cooler. We'd empty and open up like a case of beer, and we'd buy like really shitty beer, like the cheapest beer. I say shitty, the cheapest that we can get. And then we would dump like a pretty much like a fifth or whatever of vodka in that. And then we would follow it up with like pretty much a pound of sugar and a bottle of Country Time lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
And just mix that all up in the cooler.
We're
Just
doing
dump
the
a
yellow
bag
or
of
the pink
ice.
lemonade?
I think we're doing pink lemonade.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to.
And they were like, girls are just showing up to the party, like just scoop full, like boom,
Yes.
here you go, lemonade.
That swing back by later.
Trashed. Texas trash lemonade is what they should have called it.
Sounds like we need to make a video of how to make this.
Sounds like we need to make that for the river.
Yes. We will fall out. Anyways, yeah. So let's get back into the getting sauced. No, extra sauced.
Extra sauce.
So it is a
7
7-point
Oh.
ABV.
Mm-hmm.
So that, what do you call that, a double entendre?
I
Where it's
don't-
like it has a double meaning, like getting extra sauced
Oh, I see. Yeah.
versus getting extra cane sauce.
Maybe it is a double. I don't know what the hell that means, but
Yeah, I just made it up.
it makes sense.
Yeah, I'll jump right in there. It's a tasty beer. I don't think I'll ever buy it again. Not really a shanty fan, I'll be honest. It reminds me of the like the last shanty I had was like the Leinenkugels or Leinenkugels.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
So do you have a score? Or you want us to swing back by? We can come around the block if you want.
I was just wondering.
It's very
Stay
refreshing.
tuned for next episode. Or
Yeah. When James gives his score.
Right. 6.0.
All right. I was a little nervous when I saw the can being cane sauce over it. I was like, did they make beer with cane sauce? Like, I mean,
I feel like that would be better than this.
it's not horrible.
It's not horrible. That's right.
It tastes a lot like the Summer Shandy by Leinenkugel, which I think it's better than this one, but I'm going to go 6.2. 6.2.
6-2. Okay. So you're saying this is a good beer.
I could drink it.
Okay.
I'm going to finish it.
Well, I'm going to finish mine too because
It's got 2 dogs on the can. So
I did
that's
notice
a
that,
plus.
and
Yeah,
they're
I
in
saw
like
that
two
too.
different like cartoon styles. I don't know what that means.
One
'cause
of them has a bow tie.
and he does.
Isn't it? Isn't that a bow tie?
No, that's a Cane's. What do you call it? Bib.
Oh.
Yeah. One of them says "One Love" like Bob Marley, and the other one,
One
is
love. One
looks
beer.
like-
Beer.
looks like Marley.
It looks like roll that beautiful bean footage.
Wasn't there like a TV show? When it was like,
Bush baked beans. You got the dog in the commercial.
Oh, okay.
what was the TV show? Not TV show. What was the movie about Marley and Me?
Marley and Me. Yeah.
Where the
Owen
dog
Wilson.
like died.
Yeah. Why they got to do movies like that?
Right.
It's just hateful. Nobody wants
We
to
don't
see
need
that
to see
shit.
that. We need
dumb.
robot dogs.
That came out right after
Live
we lost
forever.
one of our dogs.
Yeah, this is like why do that? There's Old Yeller. If somebody wants to see a movie about a dog dying, go watch Old Yeller.
Nobody
We'll make more.
needs
We don't
to
need more.
relive those those past traumatic injuries that we've had over our like watching Old Yeller. Like just then he watched that one. Mark, hey, let's watch that one. I'm like, I don't think I want to watch that. And you watch it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't want to watch that. I'm pretty sure I was 100%
movie.
correct on not watching that. But
If you don't cry during that movie, you don't have a soul.
right,
I honestly don't remember much about it other than it was Owen Wilson and the dog day. So this beer is, man, I don't think I like summer shandies. I don't think I like lemonade in my beer.
yeah.
The Leinenkugel one is the same for me. They're all just kind of like, I don't know, like pick something. Like it just tastes like lemonade and beer. At least when you get those super hoppy IPAs that have like grapefruit and shit in it, it has something else going on. This just tastes like lemonade that they put some beer in. To me,
Aren't you a huge fan of pickle beer, though?
that's not the same. It's not the same at all.
Well, pick one. Pickles or beer?
That's not the same. Pickle is not a drink. It's a flavor.
All right, if you say so. We'll agree to disagree on that bullshit.
That's okay. Anyways, this is having said that, this is fine. I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna go like a 4.7.
Ooh.
It's fine. It's
You didn't like it at all.
well, no, that's not what that means. 5 is average. I'd say this is slightly below average. It's okay. It's whatever. It's okay. 4 means okay. That's what it is. It's okay. It's an okay
In
beer.
your score, I don't go by your rules.
I'm sorry. I don't like it more. I was actually very excited when I saw this beer because I like the weird freaking beers that they collab with other things. Like, I loved the freaking chili beer. I thought it was great.
100%. If we stack this up against the Hormel chili beer, this is a 10, and the Hormel is a 1.
That's incorrect. Anyways, I guess that's what we got for the Grabbing a Brisket.
Beer
review. Well, last week we had Myron. This week we had Bad Byron.
Byron. Next
Myron?
week, we're going to have Thyron.
I was going to say.
Actually, I just talked to Thyron, the winner of the recent.
The barbecue showdown, or the
Bruh.
Oh, have you not watched it yet?
I have 2 episodes left.
Oh, come on,
You
man!
shithead.
You had 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Spoiler alert!
I watched 2 episodes last night. I was going to finish it tonight.
We'll finish it. Well, I wish you should. You should, because he's going to be on, and but it won't be next week. However, this weekend we are heading out to Rodeo Barbecue up there in Arlington, somewhere.
Correct. They have 2 locations, one in Arlington, one in Fort Worth.
Yes, I believe we're going to be in Arlington, speaking with one of their pit masters, eating some barbecue. Because when I put it out there, like, hey, where should we go? Everybody, a large percentage of the folks said Rodeo Barbecue is the place to go up there. So that's where we're going. And then after that, we're going to head on over to Martin House Brewing, which we haven't seen those guys in a little over a year at this point. And we had a freaking blast last time.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Wish everybody could have been there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. But,
So James will be there this year.
but I hear they have special plans. They have
Yes.
special beers
They've
for
been
us.
setting aside some beers, including their Ice Mare, which I don't know if you guys follow them on social media. This
I
is
do.
their 25% alcohol by volume. I don't know if it's mint, spearmint, what the hell it is. I saw some reviews online. Some were like, wow. And some were like, wow.
You're just drinking Rumplemint. Like,
Yes, it tastes like Listerine that you can drink.
As long as that's
I'm-
not the one they want to shotgun.
I'm assuming they don't have a bunch of cans of this. I'm assuming they probably have like maybe 1 or 2 that we're going to split. Because it is like drinking.
this is the one you got to
Liquor.
sign a waiver to drink. Like,
Probably.
we're not putting this out to the public.
Yeah, probably. It
Or
probably
they,
is
they
one of those.
serve it at the tavern. You only get like a shot of it. Like, hey, we can't liability. We cannot serve you anymore.
It was a special thing, and I don't know if they put it out in the store. I don't think they did. I think it was a tap room only type deal. But he's been telling me we got some set aside, so we're going to try that. Hopefully we do a couple other beer reviews. Hopefully by the end of the night we don't know what the hell happened. And
Uber back to the hotel.
again, if you're
Right.
not following us online or on social medias, we'll probably
Figure it
get shitty drunk and go live. So
somebody's definitely going to go Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
Alex is probably not going to have his shirt on. So
That's a good
yes,
possibility.
we're going to try to get some good content for y'all because it's going to be super fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, guys, it's been great talking barbecue with you.
Peace. Thanks, everybody. We've been great.
Smoke on.
Dang it, Bobby. Just grab the brisket. We'd like to give a special thanks to Sucklebusters barbecue rubs and sauces, Bolner's Fiesta spices, CoolieNation custom koozies, Cambro Manufacturing, YETI Coolers, the Smoke Sheep Barbecue newsletter, and Dalstrong knives. We definitely appreciate your support.